Honorable Speaker, Roleboga Gaman, is it on this thing? Or are we using this one? Sure, go and check Okay. Honorable Speaker of the Legislature, Hunadi May Rosemary Mulapo. Honorable Deputy Speaker, Ndate Shitereke Matibe, Honorable Members of the Legislature, Members of the Executive Council, Chief Whip of the ruling party, chairpersons of various portfolio committees, esteemed members of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders, chairperson and the deputy chairperson, leaders of all political parties represented in this House, and the leader of the opposition, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is always my delight to address this august House, especially after the State of the Province address in February 2023 and the subsequent debates and the budget speech. We have successfully passed that period currently, and we are therefore obliged by legislation to move towards the implementation of all the commitments we have made as the Office of the Premier. Madam Speaker, it is therefore in this context that today we are here for the presentation of the Vote 1 budget that is for the Office of the Premier. This is a legislative budgetary support requirement used to translate the programs of government into visible deliverables. Our trajectory for the people of Limpopo has always been guided by our appreciation by our people's desire for social development, economic growth, the creation of jobs, and the reduction of unemployment and poverty and inequality. All these are constitutional obligations as enshrined in our own Freedom Charter. Accordingly, Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, which is the Bill of Rights, mandate us to cherish basic human rights. It is on this important note that we have singled out the National Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan and the Limpopo Socio-Economic Recovery Plan as our blueprints towards fulfilling the promise of the Constitution. We promised our people equally before the law, to be equal before the law, social security, water provisioning, quality health care and education, job opportunities, safety and security, and that is to say but a few. Like a baobab tree that provides shelter and a fountain of wisdom, the ANC government is on record as having promised the people a better life for all. Madam Speaker, the main function of the Office of the Premier is to provide leadership, coordination and support to the provincial government or to the provincial administration. In order to achieve that, there are 3 organized programs in the office of the Premier. namely corporate management, institutional development and support, and lastly, planning, coordination, monitoring, and evaluation. Honorable members, Program 1, which is corporate management, is tasked with ensuring effective and efficient utilization of allocated resources. I am pleased to report that the Office of the Premier continues to lead by example when it comes to financial management and prudence. It is with profound honor and privilege that I present yet again a clean audit opinion for the financial year 2021, 2022 and 2023. My special thanks goes to the Director General, Mr. Napin Chabeli, the top management team of the department, and the entire staff complement of the Office of the Premier. I thank them for the excellent performance and quality audit outcomes for the past, I don't know how many years. I am indeed proud of the team. It is in this context that I want to reiterate my message to them that we must ensure sustenance of the clean audit opinion, and in the same vein, assist other provincial departments and entities which are still struggling to reach your level. Regarding our resolution on spending allocated budgets, I am pleased to report that during the reporting period, the office has managed to spend over 99.5% of its allocated budget. In addition, our annual financial statements were rated to be in line with established accounting standards. And this 0.5% that we did not spend, honorable members, is not because we did not spend on delivering services. That is a savings. Say, for example, the Premier was supposed to travel to overseas or wherever, and then we realized that it does not make business or economic sense, and we said, let's save this money for something else. In addition, regarding payments of suppliers and service providers within the prescribed 30 days period, we are reporting that 100% of suppliers and service providers were paid within the prescribed period. Last year, we made a commitment that we will ensure that all the provincial departments adhere to the policy of payment within 30 days. It is therefore pleasing to report that the recent provincial expenditure report points to a significant improvement in this regard. Honorable members, one of the core mandates placed upon the Office of the Premier is to ensure the issue of employment equity targets. Currently, women representation at the Office of the Premier stands at 58% of the total staff complement. At senior management level, women continue to dominate at 48%, and the representation of people living with disabilities in the office is at 3.15%, and this is above the 2% target as stipulated in the employment equity legislation. Our reduction of vacancy rate, we are currently at 11.6%, which is in compliance with the prerequisite standard set by the Department of Public Service and Administration. Gone are those days when you had almost all government departments running with acting HODs. Honorable Speaker, regarding military veterans, we are reporting that we have recorded enormous progress on their welfare and sustenance. In the 2022-2023 financial year, the province has adopted a program of action for military veterans. In terms of this program, the Office of the Premier has already delegated officials to focus on the coordination, facilitation, monitoring, and evaluation of the military veterans program. These officials are supported by representatives of the Military Veterans Association. They are currently servicing the military veterans sector in the province in line with the consensus document and the provincial program of action. To date, a preferential procurement strategy to economically empower the sector has been developed. Currently, military veterans are eligible to access 3% of total procurement spend of government goods and services, which is an increase from the 1% originally allocated. On provision of health services to the sector, the office has assisted over 100 military veterans in need of care. In addition, 600 beneficiaries and their families have been assisted on education-related matters. We have also assisted over 400 military veterans to update their credentials on the national database. We need to localize this program by establishing help desks in district and local municipalities to ensure military veterans don't travel far to access services. In the same spirit, the Office of the Premier continues to host the Military Veterans Secretariat at its head office in Moaning Building in Polokwane. Madam Speaker, Program 2 is institutional development support. Through this program, we focus our attention on support to the foot soldiers of government, who are the workforce. Public servants are the central driving force. Managers of public resources and government front desk representatives, or let me repeat this. Public servants are the central driving forces, managers of public resources, and government's front desk representatives. I am pleased to report that to date all the departments have filled the positions of the HODs, heads of departments, except for the two departments, that is the Department of Health and the Department of Economic Development, Environment and Tourism. On that note, we are currently busy with the recruitment process to fill those two vacancies. In fact, with the Department of Leadet, I think in about a month or so, we shall have appointed. Last year, we made a commitment to fill the HOD's positions for the Departments of Transport and Community Safety and the Department of COGSA. I am pleased to report that the two HOD have been duly appointed for both the departments. It is in the same spirit, bearing in mind that we are going into a transition from the 6th to the 7th administration, that I am appealing for stability in the HODs and CFOs positions. For me, this is a critical condition to ensure that there is a smooth transition into the 7th term of administration. If we have to remember the advice that we got from the Auditor General, that we must always make sure that senior positions in the public service are filled. They are not kept vacant for too long. Honorable members, last year we made a commitment to review the role of public entities. Hence, we established an interministerial task team on reconfiguration of these entities. I am happy to report that EXCO has adopted the reconfiguration report and its recommendations. The affected departments and entities are expected to speed up implementation of those EXCO directives with regard to reconfiguration by November 2023. Regarding service delivery agreements that I signed with members of the Executive Council, the process of assessment is continuing seamlessly. However, I must indicate that there is still scope for improvement. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, last year we said that new emerging economies and the context of the fourth industrial revolution should propel us moving forward. The Limpopo e-government strategy implementation plan still remains our vehicle towards the digital transformation of the provincial administration. To date, progress regarding the plan is very visible. We have noted with pride the significant improvement regarding the way departments are implementing their information communication technology plans. The 5-year Limpopo e-government strategy implementation plan has laid a solid architectural foundation for implementing e-government. In the main, the plan is focusing on services to citizens, businesses, and government employees, as well as information sharing with other government agencies. For the financial year 2023-2024, the Office of the Premier will focus on supporting provincial departments to improve on their ICT infrastructure. This will lead to the development and implementation of plans to upgrade the infrastructure to be appropriate for the modern economy. Last year, we reported that we are reviewing the Limpopo Human Capital Investment Strategy. The timeline we have set was the first quarter of the 2022-2023 financial year. The progress to date is that the Provincial Executive Council has adopted the 2020-2030 Limpopo Human Capital and Investment Strategy. The strategy will ensure that the Limpopo administration could marshal resources from all sectors, including the SETAs, to develop skills for the provincial economy. The effective and efficient implementation of the strategy will culminate in the attainment of the following priorities: strengthening the public education system, improving the skills of the provincial economy through TVETs and universities, building a capable workforce, forming strategic partnerships to drive skills development in the growth points, focusing on higher education, training, research and innovation, and aligning bursary awards with the required skills in the provincial economy, promoting entrepreneurship being the last. It is against this background that we are pleased to report that the Limpopo Human Resource Development Council is fully functional. It held its last meeting last month. The plans for 2023-2024 financial year include the SMS capacity building program that will focus on developing skills. The program will be implemented in line with the imperatives to professionalize the public sector. Madam Speaker, young people are mostly affected by the triple challenge of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. So far, we have heightened our grip in repositioning the Youth Development Plan at the center of government agenda. It is on this important note that I'm pleased to report that a total of 10,265 beneficiaries primarily youth, have been supported through the SETAs. Close to 410 million rands was invested for the support during the financial year 2022-2023. We are also pleased that over 100 young people who were placed on internship and learnership programs have since been absorbed permanently in the job market. Be that as it may, the provincial government will continue with programs such as apprenticeship development, 4IR skills development, learnership and internship, work integrated learning, and SMMA development. These are future projects aimed at empowerment of the youth. In addition to that, we will also form strategic partnerships to drive skills development in the special economic zones and growth points. It is on this point, or on this important note, that I wish to praise Limpopo Provincial Government and the National Youth Development Agency for the successful launch of the Youth Development Fund program last month. The 10 million rand funding available to young people will go a long way in assisting them to establish, sustain, or grow their businesses. Remember, this 10 million rand is set out there as a seed for seed financing. It does not necessarily imply that we are saying that the young people, if a young people have got a business idea or business proposal for 100 million, we are not going to be able to fund that. We are not saying that. This is just for leveraging purposes, economic leveraging purposes. We are encouraging youth to apply in large numbers, so that they can improve their living conditions and create jobs. We are therefore calling upon other public institutions and the private sector to emulate this good example and unleash bankable projects geared towards youth development. As government, we have made significant progress about implementing programs aimed at improving the quality of life for the vulnerable sectors of our society. This important sector comprises youth, children, older persons, and people living with disabilities. We have implemented policies to ensure that the sector continues to enjoy the protection of the law against abuse. Yes, we have improved access to education, healthcare, and economic development opportunities to ensure that we reverse the marginalization and social exclusion of most people in this sector. It is in this context that we would like to commend the Office of the Premier, the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, the Department of Public Works, Roads and Infrastructure, the Department of Transport and Community Safety for complying with the 2% employment equity targets at all levels. We are encouraging other departments to heighten their efforts and optimize opportunities for the sector. We are pleased to report that to date, over 600 women-owned companies were capacitated on strategies to access 25% of all our provincial procurement spend in line with the Limpopo preferential procurement strategy. The mainstreaming of programs for the designated groups requires that the province develops and implement appropriate strategies that are considerate of the province's peculiarities. The province is at an advanced stage of finalizing the women empowerment and gender equality strategy, the Limpopo Disability Rights and Empowerment Strategy, as well as intensifying the implementation of the adopted youth development strategy. The implementation is currently going on, and the plan is expected to be finalized before the end of the 2023-2024 financial year. Honorable Speaker, regarding the fight against corruption, evidence is available to prove that we have acted against the VBS scandal, the COVID-19 PPE malfeasance, and other sporadic cases. This is because we honor our commitment to fight against corruption. During the State of the Province address 2 months ago, we went on length regarding this matter, just trying to outline everything that we did in as far as corruption is concerned. Fighting corruption is concerned. However, I could sense that there are still some people somewhere who still think that we are not doing enough against corruption. And we are challenging these people that please come with whatever information and evidence that you have at your disposal, and we will act. Or alternatively, information regarding allegations of corruption can be reported to our law enforcement agencies. You know, the beauty about this ANC government is that it has established independent law enforcement agencies as tools for or instruments for this democracy to ensure that we expose corruption wherever it is. Hence, we always say the difference between us and the apartheid government is that we are very good at exposing corruption, including the corruption within our own government. We are very good at exposing it. And the apartheid government, to the contrary, was very good in concealing it. So, hence we are saying wherever you find it, notify us and we will act. Honorable members, Program 3, which is my last program, Honorable Squati. Honorable Squati, Honorable Speaker, was warning me earlier on here, saying that you find a person with the budget of a director, small budget of a director, talking for the whole 2 hours. I'm driving towards my conclusion, Honorable Speaker. Program Director. Program 3. Is planning, coordination, monitoring, and evaluation. The program's flagship project is the Limpopo Development Plan. The Limpopo Development Plan is a framework specifically tailored as a blueprint for development across all spheres of government. The Limpopo Development Plan provides a basis to address socio-economic challenges to fight the triple challenge of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Our education outcomes, in particular matric pass rate, we want to say to you, honorable members, that we are pleased to report that Limpopo is the second most improved province in the country with regard to the 2022 grade 12 results. We are also counted amongst the best in terms of production of quality results. The province has achieved 72.1% pass in 2022 grade 12 examinations, which is an improvement of 5.8% from the previous academic year. However, we recognize that this performance is still below the LDP's target of 80%, Honorable MEC. As a mitigating factor, we will continue with our interventions and efforts aimed at improving the matric results in Limpopo. In the same spirit, we are pleased to report that the Early Childhood Development Transfer Program has matured. This decision, as you know, was taken in order to improve the foundation phase of our education system. Honorable members, on water provisioning, last year we made a commitment to accelerate the implementation of the Limpopo Integrated Water Master Plan. During the State of the Province address, we clearly articulated that majority of the major projects for water resource development are being implemented by the Department of Water and Sanitation. These projects include the raising of the Tsanin Dam Wall, Olifants River Water Resource Development, Musina Makado, SEZ, bulk water supply, Nandoni water treatment works. We all know by now that municipalities who are responsible for the reticulation requires the bulk resources to complete supply of water to communities. We have since reported about the successful meetings we held with the Minister of Water and Sanitation Department, Honorable Senzo Mkunu. In fact, only yesterday, Honorable Speaker, I was speaking to the Deputy Minister. I was with the Deputy Minister. And the Deputy Minister has assured me that all water authorities, all municipalities, which are water authorities, have now been given huge budgets. I think in Mubani we've got about 4 billion, Honorable Squad, that has been given to them for reticulation purposes. And we would want to see those municipalities spending that money. And we are going to assist them to spend it. And we don't expect municipalities, and we are pleading with them, we expect municipal councils to interdict us when we try to help them. Because the intention is not to purge anyone, but to help and resolve issues. It is in this context, honorable members, that we will continue engagement with the department so that we follow up on progress which is being made regarding the water provisioning in Limpopo. It can't be acceptable, honorable members, that you have a place like Sekhukhune, where you've got the Hope Dam overflowing. You've got Loskop Dam overflowing. They are all full to capacity. You've got Flag Bushielo Dam full to capacity. But people still don't have water to drink. It can't be acceptable. Something has to be done. Something drastic has to be done. Honorable members, we have continuously said that government alone cannot deal with all the challenges that our country is faced with. We therefore call for public-private partnerships as a solution towards growing the economy and infrastructure development. That is the reason why the work of the Premier's Economic Growth Advisory Council, PIGAC, and the Impact Catalyst initiatives is so critical. I am pleased to report that our last PIGAC engagement was held 2 weeks ago, with much focus on how to harness economic development initiatives in the province. Through their technical and financial support to the LDP, The work of the Impact Catalyst initiatives has gained momentum as well. They support catalytic projects across the province, and it is in this context that we will continue praising the Southern Limb mining houses, who have contributed 127 million rand for the construction of state-of-the-art steel bridge at Gamalekana village next to the R555 road. On the same note, we urge other private sector investors to come on board and partner with government to resolve the socio-economic challenges in our province. Honorable members, the district development model in Limpopo is taking shape. To date, all the district municipalities in Limpopo has finalized their district development plans. Our clarion calls, or should I say our clarion call, remains that all departments must ensure that there is effective implementation of these plans. As Limpopo, we are implementing the one government, one district, one plan, one budget approach. In addition, it was on this important note that we reported during the State of the Province address that all our government departments, including municipalities, should partner with our traditional leaders on issues of local economic development and growth. It is very important. We are pleased to report that already the Office of the Premier has held successful workshops with traditional leadership on broader socio-economic development issues. Our country is currently faced with the detrimental effects of energy crisis. Load shedding, as implemented by ESCO, has impacted negatively on livelihoods and the growth of the economy. We all know that economic growth and industrialization cannot succeed without the provision of sustainable electricity. Unfortunately, if the energy crisis persists, our Limpopo development plan targets are at risk of not being met. To this effect, please allow me to report about the provincial renewable energy strategy. As alluded to in this August House last year, Limpopo is endowed with abundant renewable energy resources, the significant one being solar energy, 2 biomass, hydropower, geothermal, as well as potential for hydrogen fuel. We have already launched a hydrogen truck, a hydrogen-empowered truck, or hydrogen-powered truck. The province is therefore well positioned to pursue alternative or sustainable energy resources to ensure energy security for the future generations. It is against this backdrop that the Office of the Premier will be developing the Renewable Energy Strategy and Implementation Plan during the 2023-2024 financial year. Because it is not enough, honorable members, just to develop a strategy, blueprint, without developing an implementation strategy also, or implementation plan. The strategy will lay a foundation for clean renewable energy-led economic development and just energy transition. More information about this plan will be made available when details are finalized. Madam Speaker, it is with greatest honor that I hereby today, on this important date, table before this August House the 2023-2024 budget vote for the Office of the Premier for appropriation. Inko, Ndlovu ya yena.
Thank you, Honorable Premier, for the presentation. The budget speech is referred to the Portfolio Committee on Public Administration for consideration and to report back to the House. Thank you very much. Let's proceed to item 7.1.2, and we shall now call upon the Honorable MEC for Sports, Arts and Culture, Honorable MEC Kegani.
The Speaker of our Provincial Legislature, Honorable Rosemary Mulapo, Deputy Speaker of the Legislature, Honorable Shitereke Matibe, Honorable Premier Stanley Chupu Matavata, colleagues in the Executive Council, Chief Whip of the Governing Party, Honorable Esop Mukhonyana, Chair of Chairs, Honorable Munyamani, Deputy Chief Whip, Honorable Muchadi, leaders of the opposition political parties, chairpersons of various portfolio committees, esteemed members of this House, the Provincial Secretary of the Governing Party, the ANC, Bamsanda, Guruben Madashe, heads of various departments and senior staff members, members of the various statutory and non-statutory bodies of the department, our mayors, Magoshi Maparangwe, an esteemed business community, special guests who have graced this august house from the creative, recreation and sporting industry, members of the media fraternity, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Dimacheloni, Abusheni, good morning, Slochile, Tobela, Kuyemore. Honored Speaker and the esteemed House, the preamble of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa as adopted in 1996 reads, "We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of our past, honor those who suffered for the justice and freedom of our land, respect those who have worked to build and develop our country, and believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity." This preamble defines the work we seek to do as the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture in support of all the other government institutions and communities in our province. Honorable Speaker, I stand this morning to present my maiden speech to the House, colleagues and invited guests who have supported us immensely through the most difficult time and most exciting times in the creative and sporting world. As the preamble of our Constitution outlines, we present this speech during the Freedom Month. To be precise, in the next 22 days on the 27th of April, all South Africans will be celebrating 29 years of freedom. This will be 29 years free from discrimination, 29 years of cultural and sport freedom, 29 years of enjoying and breathing free air from apartheid, 29 years of crisscrossing the world of sport through Soccer World Cups, Confederations of Cup, Africa Cup, rugby, tennis, and indigenous games. On the 27th of April 1994, millions of South Africans voted for a democratic government that ushered in for the first time black people to be able to play sport at Lofstars Versfeld, opening ways for a black child to play rugby at Hans Marensky High School, Petersburg, and other previously discriminated schools in and around Polokwane, Groblersdal, Mokopane, Villa Villa, and elsewhere around the province. 2 weeks ago, an art activist and member of the National Arts Council, Sipho Sithole, wrote in the Sunday Times newspaper, and I quote, "There will never be a hero of this sector who can easily claim victories in meeting the aspirations of the artistic community," close quotes. In Amilcar Lopez da Costa Cabral, Honorable Phala, in his book titled "Tell No Lies, Claim No Easy Victories," two statements caught me and Sipho Sithole's attention. He says, and I quote, "Always bear in mind that the people are not fighting for ideas, for the things in anyone's head. They are fighting to win material benefits, to live better and in peace, to see their lives go forward, to guarantee the future of their children." He further argues that as people, we should recognize as a matter of conscience that there have been many faults and errors in our action, whether political or military. An important number of things we should have done, we have not done at the right times, or not done at all, close quotes. Honorable Speaker, the liberation movement had in the 1960s called for the world to impose cultural boycott on South Africa. The cultural boycott consisted of the one hand, the mobilization of writers, musicians, and artists in the fight against apartheid, and on the other hand, in the cessation of all cultural exchange with South Africa. Black people could no longer tolerate being spectators when white children enjoyed the stage without them. They could no longer enjoy watching the World Cup from outside, looking inside. They could no longer play soccer only at Orlando Stadium, Luwako, Musishiro, and elsewhere, when their white counterparts enjoyed world-class facilities of clean swimming pools in Polokwane and Vila Vila, when their children swim in crocodile and disease-infested dirty rivers. The architect of apartheid had obviously noted that to achieve their demonic separate rule of apartheid, dominance against black people was to first destroy their culture and their creative industry aspirations. These freedoms, Honorable Speaker, we are enjoying today. We fought in the athletic terrain, in the soccer field, on the music and theater stage, and in the boxing ring. These freedoms were fought for through poetry and sonnets. These freedoms were never free, and we must defend the democratic gains that we have so far achieved. Honorable Speaker, in his State of the Nation address, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa says, and I quote, "The people of South Africa want action, they want solution, and they want government to work for them," close quote. We fully agree with this statement that defines us as servants of the people. Honorable Speaker, in our endeavor to build a better Africa and a better world, we stand here today when the grannies in their own rights have just wrapped up a Grannies International Football Tournament like no other. More than 400 grannies represented different countries. That is the USA, France, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and South Africa. Two teams from the USA were in the finals, and Breakers won by 1-0 against Lextressers. Both are from Boston, Massachusetts in USA. The Vembe district team were knocked out in the semi-finals. It is therefore my honor and privilege that I ask the House to thank Mama Bekan Tsangwisi, who is here with us today, and her foundation for bringing these grannies to our shores. She is a formidable partner in sport. Indeed, Honorable Sekwati can attest to that, and will support her in requesting the South African Football Association to establish a Grannies or Magogos Football League. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, social cohesion and recreational sport are no longer a pipe dream, but a reality. On budget allocations for 2023-2024 financial year, Honorable Speaker, the budget allocation for the department of this 2023-2024 financial year has increased from 533,293,000 in the 2022-2023 financial year to 621,883,000 816,000 rand in 2023-2024 financial year. This represents an increase of 88,523,000 rand, which is 16.6% as a result of additional and provincial priorities allocations under equitable share and a slight increase on conditional grant. This budget comprises of equitable share allocation of 399,928,000 rand, which is 64% of the overall budget. The remainder of 36%, which accounts to 221,888,000 rand, is a conditional grant allocation. Out of the 621,800,000 rand, administration has been allocated 209,155,000 rand. Cultural affairs is allocated 85,126,000 rand. Library and archive services get 223,243,000 rand. Whereas sport and recreation is allocated 104,292,000 rand. On program 1, Honorable Speaker, which is administration, the department is delighted by the hard work of Team Sport, Arts and Culture, which obtained an qualified audit opinion for the past 3 financial years in a row. And we are more than convinced that we will keep this record henceforth. We have, of course, been able to keep this traction with the support of the Portfolio Committee on Sports, Arts and Culture, the Standing Committee on Public Accounts led by Honorable Donald Slamulela, and this August House, together with the Team Sport, Arts and Culture led by the HOD. The objective of the administrative program is to conduct the overall management and administrative support to the department. This includes the Office of the MEC, Office of the HOD, Corporate Services and Financial Management. A total budget allocation of 209,155,000 rand has therefore been set aside for this program. Honorable members, in promoting an ethical and developmental state, the department has appointed 5 senior management staff members in the area of human resource development, arts and culture, supply chain management, library and archive services, and sport development in the previous financial year, 2022-2023. 3 directors in Sikukune, Waterberg and Capricorn will be appointed in the next financial year, which is 2023-2024 financial year, followed by the establishment of the Internal Control and Compliance Unit within the Office of the Chief Financial Officer. These appointments will thus strengthen good governance, administration and accountability in all the business units, thus promoting collaboration and the district development model as alluded to by the Honorable Premier Chupu Stanley Matabat, to its fullest capacity, thus also maximizing service delivery systems. This program is funded through the equitable share and it takes 34% of the overall allocation. The budget is allocated for overall administrative services of the department. As part of the increase in the budget allocation, we are looking at improving the much needed tools of trade, which will include vehicles, furniture and ICT infrastructure, of which have now become an obstacle in attaining core mandatory objectives. Madam Speaker, on cultural affairs, the objective of the Cultural Affairs Program is to promote culture, conserve and manage the cultural historical assets and resources of the province by rendering various services and hosting cultural events. This program has a total budget allocation of 85,126,000 rand for this financial year 2023-2024. This amount is funded from both equitable share and EPWP conditional grant. During the past financial year 2022-2023, we celebrated Freedom Day, Africa Day and Heritage Day. All these significant days attracted around 12,000 people. This has been a significant achievement. As we speak, the department is again busy with preparations for this year's Freedom Day celebrations. These are the type of events that assist in realizing social cohesion as espoused by the preamble of our Constitution. They also remind us of the struggles for the liberation and the milestones we have gone through in the building of our democratic dispensation. It is for this reason that I invite honorable members of this August House and all our guests to come in their numbers to listen to the Premier of the province during this year's Freedom Day celebrations. Honorable Speaker, it gives me great pleasure to announce that all statutory bodies have been constituted, in exception of the Limpopo Heritage and Resource Authority, of which the process of its constitution is underway. We are also glad to report that after 2 years of COVID-19 restrictions in the country, the department managed to host a successful Mapungubwe Arts and Culture Festival in 2022 in Polokwane. You could see the attention and excitement that our creative industry people showed, especially performing artists that they had gone through the West. About 10,000 music lovers danced and enjoyed social cohesion through the night, and some stayed until the last artist at 7 a.m. the following day. The presence of the Premier, members of the Executive Council, and some of the legislature members was testimony enough that Limpopo is indeed the melting pot of South Africa. Our special guests from Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Mozambique were eating out of the hands of our illustrious artists. For the first time, Honorable Speaker, in history, at least 96% of the artists that performed at the festival were from Limpopo. This is part of our resolve that from then onwards, Mapungubwe or any other Limpopo festival should prioritize local content. We wish to therefore report that in this financial year, we will roll out the Mapungubwe Arts Festival built-up activities in all Limpopo districts in order to allow Limpopo artists to showcase their creative talent. This will ensure that all art genres are given an opportunity to participate, as we say in Limpopo, in Glofiainale. We also wish to report that in the past financial year, 2022-2023, we managed to host 25 dialogues to strengthen social cohesion amongst the people of Limpopo. In the current 2023-2024 financial year, we plan to host 26 dialogues, thus covering the entire province and reaching communities that were previously not accessed. In this financial year, Honorable Speaker, we have also decided to face gender-based violence and femicide head-on through sport and arts. We will focus on crime hotspot areas, communities with prevalent gender-based violence and femicide and xenophobia cases. With this, we seek to implement the presidential gender-based violence and femicide strategic plan pillars, which are accountability, coordination and leadership, prevention and rebuilding of social cohesion, justice, safety and protection, response, care, support and healing, economic power, research and information management systems. It is these pillars, Honorable Speaker, we seek to implement in the province in collaboration with the Provincial Gender-Based Violence and Femicide Technical Committee. Together, we can do more. Honorable Speaker, the education of our children is wider than learning in the classroom. That's why we have partnered with the Department of Education under Honorable Mavungu Marule, Lerule. Honorable Lerule. We were able to roll out the I Am the Flag campaign in schools. In the previous financial year, we were able to conduct 25 flag campaigns where members of communities and school children learned about the country's symbols and the significance of our South African flag. This is not only about the I Am the Flag campaign, it also talks to our national symbols and our constitution, and thus promoting the national pride, patriotism, and a sense of belonging. We plan to roll out 30 of these campaigns this financial year. We are also happy to report that the Limpopo creative industry continues to receive support through our National Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. In the past financial year, we have managed to support 8 creative industry projects. We will, in this 2023-2024 financial year, continue to support 8 creative industries. We are also glad to announce that it is not only through financial support, but we also empowerment support we offer to them. In the previous 2022-2023 financial year, we commenced with the review of the creative industry strategy. We are also excited that the National Department of Sport, Arts and Culture has already consulted with the province in the development of the creative industry master plan, which at its completion will go a long way in improving the creative industry strategy for the province. We are all in agreement with the creative sector that it is time they start to be self-sustaining and be part of the job creation strategy. For this reason, we are working every step of the way with them. Honourable Speaker, we are also happy to announce that in the previous financial cycle, we have supported and developed over 1,026 artists in the creative industry. And this number will be increasing this financial year to 2,500. This number includes visual artists, sculptors, artists with disabilities, fashionists, poets and legends, amongst many others. For the current financial year, the earmarked allocation for creative industry support and promotion and development of artists is sitting at 1.4 million and 1.2 million respectively. The Cultural Affairs Program, Honourable Speaker, takes about 14% of the total budget allocation. Included in this allocation are costs related to Mapungube Arts Festival with its build-up programs as outlined earlier, Golden Shield Awards, Kuluma, Vukani, and activities leading to Marula Festival and the pronouncement of the flags. Honourable Speaker, the department is also busy with the maintenance and profiling of our museums. The budget in this program will also see the increment in the provision of sign language interpreters, the celebration of international translation. I'm saying this about the provision of sign language interpreters, Honourable Speaker, precisely because today we should be having those people interpreting for us in this house. Honourable Speaker, as we all know, Limpopo has the most spoken languages in South Africa, and the onus is on us to see to it that they are all treated equally. It is therefore says the increase in budget in this program will go a long way in fostering social cohesion and nation building in the province. Honourable Schoemansdal Museum is now at 93% in terms of construction. The practical completion of the museum will be in the first quarter of the current financial year. An additional budget was allocated for the design of the exhibition area. This exhibition area significance will allow citizens to view historical artifacts and cultural heritage with diverse cultures. This museum, honourable members, shall be officially opened during the current financial year. Honourable Speaker, we also wish to announce here today that as the Premier has over the years reported on the progress of the provincial theatre, which is the big elephant in the room, we can now report with authority that the design and procurement thereof is now at 60% tender documentation finalization. We will, in this financial year, complete stage 4 of the entire planning and then commence with stage 5, which is construction. This financial year, Honourable Muthala. This is a milestone achievement for us and creative industry. This project's completion will come in handy to the performance industry and obviously the people of Limpopo at large. The provincial theatre has been allocated 10 million.
May we be in order, please? You are still going to have that opportunity to interrogate the speech. Not now, Honourable Shok.
Honourable Shok. Honorable Sishoka.
Honorable Shoga.
Honorable Sishoka, the provincial theatre has been allocated 10 million in this current financial year. And you can attest to that, Honorable Sishoka, because people are their own liberators. Indeed, you are going to attest to that. Honorable members, about 2 weeks ago, I witnessed the talent of some of those who will be excited at the completion of the provincial theatre. The staging of a play called Pinars was hosted at General P. Joubert Special School in Polokwane. In the next few years, this should be staged at our own theatre, Limpopo Provincial Theatre. The actors and actresses came from all districts of our province. It was truly beautiful to watch. Honorable Speaker, help me appreciate theatre and stage activist Precious Manaka and director Tabang Chakala Ramabu and their team in the house. We also appreciate the work being done by, amongst others, Matome Rapetswa and Mashupe Pala, who are exposing the talent of young people in the theatre industry. Madam Speaker, we also wish to celebrate our season 18 idol superstar, Thapelo Mulomu, who became the last man standing at the competition. We now understand that the Idols company will unfortunately shut its curtains soon after the conclusion of its 19th edition. With that knowledge, we still welcomed Thapelo in style, and he later featured in our Mapungube Arts Festival. And I know for a fact that Honorable Munama from Lidet is also going to accommodate him during the Marula Festival. Let's also appreciate our homegrown artist Makazi, Vavorene, Kimunada, Master KG Penny Penny, Milandun Bear, Beni Mayengane, Pleasure M, Kilorile Naliwena, and many others who continue to dominate the music world, not only in South Africa, but across the globe, Honorable Sishoka. We are busy grooming and supporting new artists who will also surprise the music world. Please join me as we congratulate one of our own, Dr. Winnie Mashaba, who hails from Sikukune, as she celebrates 25 years in the gospel music world. Her charity and developmental music campaign is going on across the province as we speak. We have also become synonymous with beauty pageants when our daughter Ndavi Nokeri brought Miss South Africa crown home and went on to represent South Africa at the Miss Universe pageant in the USA last year. She joined luminaries like Boka Monchane and Sudufazo Musida, who also walked and dominated the pageant in the past. We are a province that has not forgotten that for us to realize our objectives, the creative industry will have to play a significant role, not only in entertainment through Mapungube and other festivals, but in creating job opportunities and ending the scourge of poverty and unemployment. On Program 3, Program Director, Library and Archive Services, we appreciate the fact that knowledge is power, and therefore we need to embark on a program that will help us as a province to inculcate the culture of reading, writing, and learning amongst our people. This program has been allocated a budget of 223,243,000 rand in this 2023-2024 financial year. This allocation signifies an increase of 39,576,000 rand, this being 22% in increment from the amount of 183,667,000 rand allocated in the past 2022-2023 financial year. Honourable Speaker, in the previous financial year, we have managed to complete the following libraries: Seleting, Ranimed, and Mavalani. In his State of the Province address, the Premier Chupu Marema Dipekwa has wished that the Seleting Library should be renamed after illustrious authors Eskia Mphatlele. All these libraries are currently in operation and serving the respective communities. During September 2022, we commenced with the building of 4 new libraries, which are Chavelo, Vleefontein, Chauru, and Sikukune. This library's construction came with challenges with community disruptions and snail movement on the site. The department and the implementing agent are in the process of appointing new contractors to continue with the construction of the 3 libraries that previously experienced delays. Meanwhile, the construction of Mulamula Library is at 76% completion and will be completed during the 3rd quarter of this financial year. In the past 2022-2023 financial year, we managed to upgrade and maintain 24 of our libraries across the province. In the process, we also managed to procure over 20,000 library materials, including the much needed books. In the current financial year, we are planning to procure 25,000 library material, considering the budget of 8,759,000 rand. Honourable Speaker, in line with the 4th Industrial Revolution, 13 libraries were provided with technology and equipment for our visually impaired readers through the South African Library for the Blind. These libraries are Polokwane, Phalaborwa, Mogalakwena, Babirwa, Vleefontein, Shiluvane, Njelele, Thulamela, Rapatla, Marble Hall, Musina, Old Days, and Tzaneen. The plan for this financial year is to activate Lewakomu, Mudimole, and Giyani, and to launch and market the services to ensuring maximum usage. The library and archive services was allocated 36% of the budget, and it is funded by the equitable share and conditional grant. Within the allocation, an amount of 153,597,000 rand is for conditional grant, which constitutes 69% of the total budget for the program. Honourable Speaker, it is the Mark Twain who once said, and I quote, "The man who does not read has no advantage over the man who can't read," close quotes. The current budget will be directed towards the planning for construction of new libraries, maintenance, library books, provision of ICT infrastructure, free internet access to libraries, appointment of librarians, security services for all libraries, and payment of EPWP workers. A total of 34,474,000 has been allocated towards construction of new libraries and upgrades, whilst maintenance of libraries has been allocated a budget of 4.8 million rand in the current financial year. For this purpose, 3 million rand has been allocated for EPWP model under equitable share. Honourable Speaker, we will in this financial year complete construction of 5 libraries and commence with planning and design for construction of 3 new libraries, which are Bungeni, Maclereken, and Makuva. We want to entrench a reading society mentality and ensure that our learners, both young and old, have available reading material. The August House and Limpopo people should also know that all our libraries are equipped with computers and free internet access. During his State of the Province address, the Premier, Chupu Stanley Mathabata, highlighted the province's approach to energy security. Thus, the design of the new libraries going forward will include solar panel roofing, addressing the plans to encapsulate the possible retrofitting of solar panels to all government buildings, as the Premier added. Honourable Speaker, in a nation that does not know where it comes from, will know where it is going. It is for that reason that we can today report to this House that we have commenced with the recording of the oral history of our struggles stalwarts, because we know for a fact that Limpopo province is the ancestral province, the home of Bosefako Mapo Makhato, the home of Bulile Ngoi, the home of Charlotte Mangwana Manye Mateke. We do this in collaboration with the Department of Defence and Military Veterans, the Office of the Premier and the Provincial Committee of Military Veterans, and the different war veterans organizations in our province. The department will move holistically to ramp up this program. Under the last program, which is sport and recreation, and I'm happy to report that we have got the chairman of Sikukune FC Mr. Simon Malaki, who is here in the house, who drove all the way from Johannesburg, and he's here with us to support us. Honourable Speaker, the Sport and Recreation Unit is the custodian of sport development and recreation. It is in this program that we identify, develop and prepare talent for high-level performance. Last year, the department committed to support 500 elite athletes with scientific, medical, as well as fitness and conditioning services in the following sporting codes: baseball, softball, basketball, football, rugby, hockey, indoor rowing, para-athletics, volleyball, and netball. I'm pleased to report that all our targets have been met. This means that there's been progress in the increment in sport participation. The 2 focus schools were also supported through the Academy of Sport. We can also announce here today that collectively 907 hubs, schools and clubs were provided with sporting equipment and attire in the past financial year. At the same time, we have met the target of having 11,500 learners participating in school sport at district levels. Of these 530 learners were able to reach national competitions. We are proud of these learners who continue to raise the flag of Limpopo high at national competitions. In the current financial year, the number of learners participating in school sport at district level will increase to 25,000, and 1,033 of these will be competing nationally. At the same time, we reached and exceeded our target of 24,000 people participating in organized sport and active recreation. This number will increase to 50,000 in the current financial year. We can also report here that 205 sporting leagues were supported through the Limpopo Sport Confederation in the past financial year. The support to the leagues will continue, and 233 are targeted for this financial year. In the past financial year, 2022-2023, we also managed to implement the following recreational programs: Indigenous Junior Dipapadi, National Youth Camp, Big Walk, Golden Games, and Recreational Day. In the previous financial year, the department was able to honor and reward best performers at the annual Sport Awards held in Sun City. Among these honored was the first interracial boxing participant in 1976 at the height of the apartheid regime, James Dynamite Mathato, who fought the then South African heavyweight boxing champion Gerrie Coetzee. Dynamite broke barriers as he fostered social cohesion and forced the brutal regime to notice the heart of African athletes to fight. He is 83 years old today, and he's here with us today. He fought then and he still fights today while leading a healthy life and teaching young people boxing here in Lebowakgomo. Ntate Mathato is one of our guests. In those awards, we also awarded our Banyana stars, particularly from Limpopo. These are Lebogang Ramalepe, Noko Matlou, Nomvula Khwali, Hilda Magaya, and Amorelang Mutau. They have indeed made us proud. One of our rising stars in the Ladies Springbok captain, our daughter, Right Mukari. Her success within this male-dominated sport talks volume, and we commend her for representing South Africa on the world stage. A number of athletes from this province are excelling in different sporting codes, and we will continue supporting them. Honourable Speaker, please join me in congratulating these winners and others. Most of these went on to dominate in the National Sport Awards under the auspices of the National Department of Sport, Art and Culture a week ago. Among those wearing national honors are Dr. Malombete Ralete, who was awarded the Lifetime Achievers Award, the Nguba Male Team, which won the Indigenous Games Team of the Year, and our Helen France Special Team, which won the Developing School of the Year Award. Honourable Speaker, this program has been allocated a budget of 104,292,000 rand in this 2023-2024 financial year, an increase from 83,732,000 rand from the 2022-2023 financial year. so that we move further to attain the set targets. The sports and recreation program takes 17% of the total allocation and is funded by both equitable share and conditional grant. The allocation includes a conditional grant funding of 66,331,000 rand, which constitutes 64% of the total budget for the program. Honorable Speaker, this will ensure that sport hubs and clubs are functional in all districts and all capacitated to promote sport participation in communities. An active nation is a healthy nation. If we become active, we reduce the number of those who frequent hospitals and assist productivity in reducing those who take sick leave. Our forebearers also used traditional games to sustain themselves to live longer. The department will introduce the Limpopo Annual Games commencing this financial year, wherein 11 sporting codes will be prioritized. Phase 1 will be hosted at the local level with the sole aim of increasing participation of people in sport at grassroots level. We endeavor to have wards compete amongst themselves while moving towards districts and ultimately at the provincial level. This is a back to basics approach, one ward, one hub. Although it may take a few years to reach all wards, it is possible. It can be done and it will be done. Honorable Speaker, the department has sent out a circular encouraging municipalities to apply for the municipal infrastructure grant for multi-sporting courts. There could be more combi courts built from the 10 million grant as opposed to building one facility with 10 million per financial year. The municipalities will be able to cover more areas and more citizens in different sporting codes. While we have the Netball World Cup inside, let's maximize on the microscope placed on these combi courts in support of the very World Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 60 years, a female sporting code is hosting a prestigious World Cup in our continent, in our country, Cape Town, and this is no joking matter, and we should all be proud and fully rally behind our women in July in Cape Town. We are proud that these 3 players are from Boitumelo Matloko, Kanyisa Chawane, and Lenny Potgieter. I therefore urge everyone in this house and the entire province to wear the South African netball team jersey every Friday, like we did during the 2010 FIFA Soccer World Cup. When the people were excited about the 2010 Soccer World Cup, they will say, "Feel it, it's here." And they will also say, "Philip is here." Indeed, Philip is here. Let's cherish this women sporting code. The department will be hosting the 100-day celebration towards this World Cup event. These celebrations will take place on the 19th of April at the Ngwakura Matlodi Sports Complex. In the process, just like other provinces, Limpopo will also host a trophy tour from the 9th to the 13th of June 2023. The trophy routes will be communicated in due course. In the meantime, municipalities are encouraged to identify fan parks for the World Cup. Honourable Speaker, as a catalyst to increase community participation in active sport, the department will reintroduce the annual Kenza Marathon in conjunction with various stakeholders. This marathon, Honourable Speaker, to be held in October, is also a comrades marathon qualifier. Cancer is eating away our society. An awareness campaign engraved in this event should go a long way in instilling the much needed culture of healthy living. Honourable Speaker, Limpopo continues to be the breeding ground of elite athletes in softball code, which was celebrated as the Federation of the Year in the Annual Sports Award 2022-2023 financial year. In the senior national men team, Limpopo has produced 8 technical officials and 9 athletes who represented Africa at the Softball World Cup held in New Zealand in December 2022. This sporting code has managed to produce 4 technical officials and 4 athletes of the senior softball women team that won the African qualifiers held in Gaborone, Botswana from the 7th to the 10th of February 2023. They will now participate at the pre-World Cup qualifiers to be held in Valencia, Spain from the 15th to the 20th of July 2023. The coach continues to put Limpopo on the international map by producing 4 technical officials and 6 athletes for participation in the under-23 men's national squad. The team has also qualified for the inaugural World Cup to be held in Parana, Argentina from the 15th to the 23rd of April 2023. This technical team includes captain of senior national team and pitching coach of the junior teams, Tidi Makekana, who is currently the #1 pitcher in the African continent, and he's here with us. Under school sport program, Limpopo produced 4 athletes and 2 technical officials in the under-18 men team who won the African World Cup qualifiers that took place in Kampala, Uganda in January 2023. The team will also represent Africa at the World Cup to be held in Cancun, Mexico from the 11th to the 19th November 2023. Honorable Speaker, the department is introducing a new model of hub clustering to foster social cohesion. We'll supply these hubs with sporting equipment. The rollout of this program will commence with the Sikukune district in this financial year. The other districts will be included in the coming financial years. A total budget of 11,989,000 rand has been allocated for the provision of sport equipment and attire for the current financial year. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, and the honorable members at large, as was said earlier, this is my maiden speech, and many of the achievements outlined here would not have been possible without the support one received from various people and structures from both and within the department and in this house. It is for that reason that I wish to thank my predecessor, former MEC Thandi Anamraka, a formidable woman and leader within the governing party, who is also the head of the subcommittee on arts and culture in the ANC NEC. I wish to thank her for the work she has done and will continue to do as we are preparing for the Netball World Cup 2023. I wish to also acknowledge the leadership of the head of the department, Ms. Daphne Ramokgopa, with a team of men and women who baptized me with fire when I was deployed here a few months ago. Believe me, I have never rested a day since then. From the day I took office, I had been taken to all districts, opening libraries, and then Mapunguve Arts and Culture Festival. I'm still on the road in the building of a socially cohesive society. Thank you very much, HOD and your team. I must also thank all the statutory and non-statutory bodies led by, amongst others, Mr. Ali Pole and his team in the sport federations, Mr. Simon Kekana and the team in the Limpopo Arts and Culture Council, the Geographic Names Council, Chairperson Gerald Twala, amongst others. These bodies welcomed me warmly and started engaging me robustly. Their input is welcome. We have a duty to our nation. Finally, let me thank the Portfolio Committee on Sport, Arts and Culture, led by remarkable woman, Honorable Johanna Apiri. The Portfolio Committee is like a home. We engage every day, and their monitoring process has made us what we are today. Thank you very much, honorable members. Let me also thank my family, my husband, Isiye Nkenkekekana, who have accepted that in my life as a politician and an activist, there is no time to idle when our people need services. Indeed, ours is a life to make our society more active, socially cohesive, and healthy. I'll also want to send the accolades to our Premier Maremadi Pekwa Chupu Stanley Matavata, who accorded me this opportunity to be one of his members of the Executive Committee, in particular in the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. Honorable Speaker, I humbly present the 2023-2024 Vote 10 of the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. And as I move, I know Gorobodi Khadi Chaka Mshate, Bo Mme Monica Muchadi, Honorable Siomo will join me when I say Tupue Wane Kwama Ramsara Ramkuba.
Thank you. Thank you, honorable members. Thank you, honorable MEC, for the presentation. The budget speech is referred to the Portfolio Committee on Sports, Arts and Culture for consideration and to report back to the House. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we are now moving to item 7.1.3. We shall now call upon the MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development, Honorable to present the budget speech for the
Honorable Speaker, Executive Council, Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Honorable Mukhonyan, Honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, leadership of the ruling party, African National Congress, Ndate Nkeke Kekana, NEC member, husband to MEC Nakedi Swanda Kekana, leader of the opposition party, Mr. Sishoka, Limpopo House of Traditional Leaders, led by Osingove, and the Deputy of the House of Traditional Leaders, Hoshi Ramupudu, members of the Agricultural Advisory Committee, official of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, National Department of Land Reform and Rural Development, and other sector departments.
Can we allow Honorable Soba to Honorable members? Honorable Soba.
Because he knows it very well who's the leader of opposition. For that, I would request you to ask him to withdraw that. I'm not the leader of opposition. You must just withdraw that. We know that. We know you can do that. That is not proper. You cannot say that. There is one committee that is approved who's the leader of opposition.
Thank you very much.
You must just withdraw that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Shoka. Maybe it was a slip of the tongue.
But Honorable Speaker,
No, it's fine.
Honorable Speaker,
you see what you want to do. You're doing exactly what the speaker has been doing. Deputy Speaker, don't go there.
Honorable Speaker, I withdraw.
You must ask him to withdraw.
I withdraw.
You must ask him to withdraw.
Honorable Speaker, I withdraw without any reservation. Just to recognize Honorable Sishoka, who is here representing opposition party alone. Representative of farming community at large and civil society organizations present, representatives of agribusiness and other partners in agricultural sector, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my sincere greetings to you. Honorable Speaker, it is with honor that we today table to this August House a budget of vote for Limpopo Department of Agriculture and Rural Development for the financial year 2023-2024. We are tabling this budget amidst difficult economic times. In recent years, farmers have been facing a continuous uphill battle because of exponential rising cost of production, mainly fuel, fertilizers, compounded by current electricity blackout. As also noted in the State of the Nation Address, SONA 2023, His Excellency President Ramaphosa highlighted the fact that the agriculture sector, open quote, is now facing several pressures from input costs for fertilizers, fuel to market access constraints, and severe weather patterns that are impacting badly on production, close quotes. Despite these challenges, we take leadership from our Honorable Premier, Stanley Chukuma Tabata, during the State of the Province Address, SOPA 2023, when he mentioned that, open quote, therefore, our collective responsibility moving forward is to implement the policy directive pronounced by the President, close quote. Therefore, the budget and plans of the department for 2023-2024 must aim to assist the producers to mitigate the impact of unfavorable conditions on agricultural production. It is worth mentioning, though, that despite these challenges, our agricultural sector continues to play a crucial role in ensuring that the national food security. The Global Food Security Index 2022 places South Africa as the most food secure country on the African continent. South Africa is ranked number 1 on the continent and globally number 59 out of 133 countries that have their agricultural sectors worth of inclusion in the GFS index. From the continent, South Africa is followed by Tunisia at number 62. We believe that this is made possible through the hard work of our farmers and farm workers, the agricultural industry at various levels, and of course the supportive role of government through various enabling policies and programs. We should also take note that 6.5 million people in South Africa still go to bed hungry, and that need to intensify our intervention programs towards ensuring household food security as espoused in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 2 by 2030. We welcome the pronouncement by the Premier that there will be development of province-specific and comprehensive energy plan to ensure that we build a new electricity generation capacity in our province. Furthermore, the Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, Metoko Didiz, has established an energy task team, and this will help our department to include the development of energy production projects in our plans as directed by the Premier in 2023 State of the Province Address. I've already met with representatives of organized farmers in this regard and directed our department to establish an energy task team to work on agricultural sector inputs in the broader plan to mitigate the impact of the load shedding on food production across value chain. We have adopted a slogan of evangelizing agriculture and food production to be a culture by all, no longer just a leisure for some. We are calling upon everybody to take advantage of the resource at their disposal to contribute to improve food security, employment creation, and a reduction of poverty. As part of evangelism, together with the Limpopo Department of Education, we are working on a mechanism to support the agricultural school in our province. The aim is to enable these schools to continue to serve as foundation level for agricultural career development and to promote the importance and value of increased participation of young people in the food chain system. Flowing from my interaction with various stakeholders and role players, we believe that with our recent establishment of the MEC Advisory Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, we also formed a technical task team on energy at the sector level. We are on track to jointly and collectively find solutions as a sector towards addressing the above mentioned challenge on the identified strategic problem. Our reflection on the red meat cluster development has indicated that we need to change our approach. We are in discussion with the impact catalysts, who are also here, to have a holistic approach that will see us addressing all the aspects of production, value adding, and markets. We are working on developing a comprehensive master plan which will guide and direct the necessary investment through public and private partnership. At the beginning of the sixth administration, our department committed to a mission to promote food security and economic growth through sustainable agricultural development. The 2023-2024 budget allocation will thus enable us to continue the journey of our mission, amplified by agriculture evangelism, movement to put into effect policy priorities as outlined in the 2021 to 2024-2025 medium-term strategic framework and Limpopo Development Plan. This journey is undertaken under the challenges of limited resources and slim workforce, which we have mitigated by, among others, organizational redesign, which led to the implementation of new organizational structure, as we committed in the 2022-2023 budget speech. However, despite our effort to decrease the workforce, our compensation of employees bill is stubbornly increasing from 1 billion to 1.1 billion. In 2022-2023, we spent approximately 4 million rand on implementation of COVID-19 health and safety protocol and more than 7 million rand on personal protective equipment to ensure a safe working environment of our personnel. We have also allocated 7 million rand to enhance the capacity of personnel through in-service training, and we will continue with the quest for alternative ways and resources to increase the capacity of the workforce to ensure maximum delivery of our mandate. The red meat industry observed that the last United Nations Climate Change Conference held in November 2022, commonly referred to COP27, was the first one wherein the participation had for the first time given agriculture and food production prominence in terms of how this sector can be leveraged to better tackle environmental issues. The department is also keeping a close eye on how the effect of climate change and are shaping critical narrative about the future of agricultural industry. We commit to initiating and participating in various research that promote the role of sustainable production strategies in the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. On sustainable resource use and management program, 137 million for 2023-2024 financial year has been allocated. This program remains the cornerstone of agricultural practices since it is about caring for the very soil agriculture is derived from and the provision of infrastructure to support farming activities. In 2022-2023, as we promised, we rehabilitated 1,300 hectares of land and cultivated 502 hectares under conservation agricultural practice. These milestones were achieved amidst challenges in delivery of agriculture infrastructure. We have since developed a turnaround strategy to complete all outstanding infrastructure in the second quarter of this financial year and ensure that all infrastructure projects planned for this current financial year are completed timeously. Despite these challenges, through this program, the department managed to create more than 2,750 EPWP job opportunities, 6% above the target. We will explore the expansion of support to process the identified invaders tree species to other areas, as to assist farmers to generate income from harvested invader species. A feasibility analysis will be conducted in the first quarter of this financial year to determine the possibility of replicating this kind of project across the province. Recently, I visited a similar land cap pilot project at Mamaila Kulubetuna village in Mopani district, wherein a group of 350 cattle farmers received support from the department to manage invasive plant species, namely cycle bush and lantana. Yes. It is with great humility. It is, Honorable Deputy Speaker, it is with great humility to introduce to this august house Mr. Theo Deploy, and an engineer and a farmer from Limpopo, who designed a unique mass handler facility for goats and sheep. Mr. Theo. The system neatly lifts 20 mature goats goats without hurting or injuring them off the ground to easily be inspected for parasites in their eyes and ears and dosed. Madam Speaker, Mr. E. Nekabambe, in his article, "What do we need to do to transform the agricultural sector?" in the Transformation Digest magazine, found the following: the agriculture sector needs a caring and responsible government in the same way that government needs the private sector. Transformation strategies should investigate youth participation in agricultural sector for sustainability and profitability of the sector. There is also a need to address and deliberate on the issue of the Agri-BEE Charter Sector Code to realize this objective. Government funding should be inclusive of all the industry commodities. Thus, we continue our transformation agenda by providing support to transformation and development of agricultural sector through our agricultural producer support and development program, and actively contribute to economic growth, inclusion, equality, and the creation of decent work. During the past year, the department has increased participation of producers in the integrated value chain through support of 7,300 producers across various agriculture commodity groups. 1,570 above the target. Furthermore, we fulfilled our 2022-2023 commitment to capacitate farmers by training 1,350 producers and reaching out to 1,500 through demonstration and Farmers' Day on overwhelming achievement against our plans. Our intention to support smallholder producers and subsistence farmers were negatively impacted mainly by the volatile price escalation in inputs, especially fertilizers, due to the Russian-Ukraine conflict and other global and national market factors. However, we remain committed to our mission as we present the 2023-2024 plans and derive strength from our agricultural spirit of evangelism. Among the key deliverables of this program is revitalization of small-scale irrigation schemes. As we pronounced in 2022-2023 budget speech, notable progress has been made in our 4 irrigation schemes, mainly through the revitalization of infrastructure development. The development of Mogalatsana irrigation scheme infrastructure is at 80% completion. It is worth noting that the scheme is currently producing cotton under dry land rain-fed production scheme. The revitalization of Hereford irrigation scheme of Tafelkop Farmers Association includes bulk water supply and infield irrigation system development, establishment of shade nets covering 1 hectare per plot, refurbishment of packing facilities, construction of ablution block facility, and storage facility to ensure compliance with South African gap market requirements. Production at other schemes, namely Zamerkomste, Riadi Rabaswa, and Swara Utiishe, is also progressing fairly well. Seasonally, an average quantity of cotton produced is 400 tons, with more than 300 jobs created. Support will continue in 2023-2024 to, amongst others, enable planting of 464 hectares as part of the expansion of Skukuna Cotton Cluster development. This support is aimed at increasing the number of producers from 124 to 400, doubling production from 400 hectares to 1,000 hectares, increasing the knowledge and skill base of cotton producers, and to improve market access. This development is in partnership with Cotton South Africa. For 2023-2024, the Agricultural Producer Support and Development Program has received 795 million, which constitutes 45% of the total departmental budget. The allocation includes Comprehensive Agriculture Support Program, which is CASP, Letsima, grant with nearly 242 million for CASP and 77 million for Letsima, respectively. In the year under review, 209 animals were provided to farmers through Departmental Livestock Loan Scheme and Departmental Livestock Resale Scheme. Fish breeding stock of 10,000 fish fingerlings sourced from the Departmental Fish Production Operation at Teflop HR were supplied to farmers. In 2023-2024, 250 livestock and 10,000 fish fingerlings will be provided to farmers to improve their production, respectively. Our pursuit for industrialization of the red meat cluster seek to optimize and increase production of red meat across the value chain and ultimately improve the access to formal market and the livelihoods of the livestock farmer. We are expanding this program to include other parts of the province from the pilot in Waterberg district. This has been prompted by our continuous drive to address the challenge faced by farmers affected by foot and mouth disease. To strengthen our intervention in the red line areas, towards addressing the historical challenge on market access for livestock farmers in the FMD zones of Mopani and Wembe districts. Lot of work has commenced on the ground, particularly on the area of capacity building of farmers. So far, more than 1,400 farmers across the province have gone through a training program on various aspects of livestock production, marketing, and disease management. We have also roped in impact catalysts to work with us to conclude a full situational analysis and to develop a master plan for the province-wide red meat development. We are forging ahead with a drive to increase participation of producers in the integrated value chain through support to 5,300 producers across different agricultural commodities. In 2023-2024, the support will benefit 8,700 farmers and 9,140 hectares of land will be put into production. This support will contribute to the creation of more than 11,000 jobs, households for survival. The role of the extension officers in the food production and in turn poverty alleviation, especially for our rural household, is very critical and cannot be overemphasized. We appreciate the contribution of the National Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development with the current drive to assist the province to increase the boots on the ground. Our department is facing aging workforce, especially extension officers. Thus, we welcome the extension of temporary contracts of 820 assistant agricultural practitioners by the National Department of Agriculture. We say extension from 3 months to 3 months. But at least we are happy, you know. The foot and mouth disease continues to threaten the livelihood of livestock farmers, not only in Limpopo province, but also the broader livestock industry in South Africa. However, we can confidently report that the outbreak has been fully contained thanks to the intervention by the department and efforts by farmers, traditional leaders, animal auctioneers, South African National Defence Board, South African Police Services, and the media. We further express our appreciation to departmental officials, the support of the Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, our Honorable Premier and my colleague MEC Squati, and the MEC of Transport and Community Liaison, district municipalities, and Wembe and Mopani districts. We'll be hosting the Limpopo Livestock Summit in the first quarter of the financial year to bridge the gap between government, organized agriculture, and private sector towards a shared vision of sustainable growth and development of the provincial livestock industry. To continue with the implementation, the above stated intervention and the key priorities which are critical to ensure disease-free environment and meat safety for public consumption. The Veterinary Services Program has been allocated 193 million rand, an increase of 77 million rand to enable the FMD intervention. In as much as the main focus has been on the FMD to its wider range impact on the livestock industry, we should not forget about the preventative measures for other diseases such as rabies. Rabies is a zoonotic disease, meaning that it's infectious disease that is transmitted between species from animals to humans. If 70% of dogs and cats are vaccinated, the cycle can be broken. Mass rabies vaccination will continue, especially in Wembe and Mopani district where rabies is endemic. Honorable Speaker, yes, return, Madam Speaker. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, here
As pronounced in the 2022-2023 budget, the department has planned to implement 12 research projects and 21 technological transfer interventions for improving agricultural production. The department overachieved with 14 research projects and implemented and 41 technology transfer interventions conducted in the financial year under review. Research and Technology Development Service Program has been allocated 75 million. An amount of 2 million has been allocated to cater for the infrastructure rehabilitation of Mara and Toowoomba Research Station. During the 2023-2024, 12 research projects will be implemented to improve agricultural production. This research is to explore the alternative and new production practices and methods that can assist the producers to respond to challenges brought about effect of climate change and change in production system. The coordination and facilitation of support regarding the implementation of cannabis master plan will continue in this financial year. We will intensify awareness and provide support to prospective producers with license applications. So far, public awareness workshops on hemp or cannabis development have been conducted across the province. The Agro-Geospatial Information Service team in the department has developed a digital reporting system enabling monitoring and reporting on progress made with the implementation of departmental plan. This modern technology system also allows for warning on performance with resultant identification of strategies to overcome challenges. For example, the producer farmer register will be added to the digital reporting system to guide planning and assist in the application process for farmer support. The Agriculture Economic Service Program has been allocated 74 million rand to provide timely and relevant agricultural economic services to ensure equitable participation in the economy. We have allocated 30 million rand for the continuation of RAVAC implementation as one of the provincial policy priorities. Thank you to MEC Siaparo Squati. The RAVAC plan aims to contribute to the expansion and increase of agricultural production across the value chain, and in turn, the sector inclusive growth, job creation, and food security as espoused in the National Development Plan, Limpopo Development Plan, and Limpopo Socio-Economic Recovery Plan. Implementation of RAVAC anchor projects will continue in 2023-2024, which include the following: Majeje citrus with an allocation of 12 million as a second phase of establishment of citrus orchard towards the target of 450 hectares. Tafelkop in the Hereford irrigation scheme with the allocation of 10 million for the continuation of irrigation infrastructure and infrastructure for gap market requirement certification. Chilwabusiku with allocation of 6 million for irrigation infrastructure and on-site packing shed. The master plan for Zebediel will be developed to outline specific deliverables and require investment to revitalize this citrus estate and increase current jobs by more than 100%. We have planned to convene a RAVAC summit in the first quarter of 2023-2024. The objective of the summit is to have structured engagement on the matter of agriculture value chain development, reflecting on the current and future development program in government and private sector, with the aim of strengthening existing and forging new partnership, as well as sharing lessons on the best practice. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in 2022-2023, we managed to audit 25 farms, and 4 of them have been certified by the South African GAP and 1 by Global GAP. This to enable them to participate in the mainstream economy. In 2023-2024, 33 farms will be pre-audited and 20 will be fully audited, including health and food safety workshop. Furthermore, 2,750 producers will be supported with production economic services using the budget allocation of approximately 74 million rand to provide timely and relevant agricultural economic services to the sector in support of sustainable agriculture and agribusiness development to increase economic growth. Tombisilika and Mazivandela Agriculture College in 2022-2023 graduated 102 students with diplomas in agriculture. This success was also realized in the training of farmers on various agricultural skills, wherein more than 400 farmers were trained. Agricultural Education and Training Program has been allocated a budget of 158 million rand for 2023-2024 financial year. This budget is to cater for the student academic program, college infrastructure, revitalization, and learnership program. The department has initiated a program to employ young graduates in the field of agriculture, forestry, fisheries, to mitigate the worrying socio-economic realities of youth unemployment in our society. Through the placement of unemployed agricultural graduate program, the department is placing young people with agricultural qualification in various commercial enterprises across the province. During 2021-2022 financial year, the department placed 120 graduates on farms to gain work experience for the period of 2 years. This placement of unemployment graduate program exposes graduates to further opportunities for support and linkages to establish and sustain their own enterprise. During 2023-2024, the following 4 enterprises owned by graduates who completed their program will be supported: Sigale Business Enterprise, Poultry Enterprise in Skukune, Resana Agriculture Farming, Vegetable Enterprise in Mopane District, and Shadaton Farming Vegetable Enterprise in Capricorn District. As I conclude, Honorable Deputy Speaker, allow me to share this with the august House that the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Reform and Rural Development requested the Premier of Limpopo Province to host the 2023 annual BRICS Agricultural Ministers meeting. The meeting will take place at the end of July 2023. The BRICS Agriculture Minister meeting is a build-up to the BRICS Summit in August 2023, which will be hosted by the State President, His Excellency President Ramaphosa, as the current chair of the BRICS. Our province will be working with National Department, supported by DERCO, to ensure that this becomes a success and to showcase the richness of Limpopo in terms of natural resources, our cultural and friendliness. The Limpopo Department of Agriculture and Rural Development has received an allocation of 1,770,786,000 rand. Let me read it for you. As the Limpopo Department of Agriculture and Rural Development has received an allocation of 1,770,786,000 rand in 2023-2024 financial year. The allocation is made up of 1 billion for. The allocation is made up of 1,430,000 rand, 420 rand of equitable shares, and allocation and conditional grants amounting to 340,366,000 rand. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the front runners in the sector who are hard-working farmers, farm workers and agricultural technocrats. Let us also leave no one behind and continue to feed our nation and contribute to the much-needed jobs. Let me express my deepest gratitude to the Honorable Premier for the sterling leadership and guidance, and also to thank my predecessor, Mayor Nandi Ndalan, for the sterling work that she has started in the department. Also to thank my colleagues in the Executive Council for your support and counsel. Chairperson and members of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, Honorable Maseko Mzala, for your diligent oversight role in keeping us on our toes. My gratitude also goes to the team Agriculture and Rural Development, led by Head of Department, Memai Sela, for your hard work and dedication. We leave no one behind until we meet all our objectives to deliver high standard agricultural services to our commercial farmers, smallholder farmers, and each household in our province. Deputy Speaker, allow me to conclude by the words of Michael Esmeraldo, the newly appointed managing director of Netafim, South Africa, who recently wrote in the Farmers Weekly that agriculture is a marathon, not a sprint. The trick is to stick it out, remain hopeful, and always keep an open mind. I thank you. Inkomu, Kialewua, Rolewua, Baya Danke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. The budget speech is referred to the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development for consideration and to report back to the House. Let's move to item 7.1.4. We shall now call upon the Honorable MEC for Coxstar, Honorable Rogers B. Makan, to present the budget for the Department of Coxstar. Rogers Junior Senior.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. Our Honorable Premier of our province, Chubu Stanley Matabata, the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip of the Majority Party, my colleagues in the Executive Council, the Chairperson and members of the Portfolio Committee on Coxstar as led by Honorable Kidiwoni Libya, Honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, Your Worship, Executive Mayors and Mayors of our municipalities, the leadership of Salga in our province led by the Executive Mayor of Kulukwani, Councillor John Mpe, the Chairperson and the Deputy Chairperson of the Limpopo House of Traditional Leaders, including the Executive Committee as led by Wosingove, the Provincial Leadership of Contralesa. In our presence, I have seen Khoshihadi Skopo, our esteemed Majesties and Royal Highness present here, the leadership of the IEC and other Chapter 9 and 10 institutions present here, the leadership of the ruling party, the African National Congress, led by the NEC member, Comrade Ned Kekan, stalwarts and veterans of our struggle, leaders of our opposition parties, as led by Honorable Sishoka in this gathering, representative of the NHBRC, RISIMA, and HDA, the Chairperson of the Housing Tribunal and MEC Advisory Panel, Coxstar staff led by our HOD, Dr. Mujaji Malahela, members of the media, invited guests, stakeholders of the department, comrades, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Honorable Speaker, I stand before this August House to present the fiscal plan for Budget Vote 11 in the 2023-2024 financial year. May I remind this August House that our late international icon, Nelson Mandela, is in his inaugural speech in May 1994 said, and I quote, "We have tried in the effort to implant hope in the breast of our millions of our people. We enter a covenant that we shall build the society which all South Africans, black and white, will be able to walk tall without any fear in their hearts, assured of their inalienable right to human dignity, a rainbow nation at peace with itself and the world." Close quote. Honorable Speaker, the budget vote is a presentation of our covenant to contribute to socio-economic development and to better the livelihoods of our communities of Limpopo. Let us remind ourselves that entering this covenant is a long journey which requires sacrifice and determination, as Madiba did. With passage of time, I have learned that it requires all of us, government, private sector, civil society formations, traditional leaders and communities to work together, because the need for social and economic success to eradicate poverty, job creation, service delivery of better services is our unifying factor. Honorable Speaker, this 2023-2024 budget vote comes at a time when our country is faced with a tight monetary and fiscal policy positions. Therefore, as a department, we need to spend our allocation with diligence to accomplish the strategic objectives in line with our departmental strategic plan and sector priorities. In addressing this scourge of poverty, our department remains with an obligation to support and provide decent shelter and basic services to the Limpopo citizenry. Program 1, Honorable Speaker, which is administration. Our ability to deliver our mandate is dependent on having a stable and well-functioning organization. In 2021, we finalized the organizational re-engineering processes. The final organizational structure gave birth to a new branch called Traditional Affairs. To stabilize the institutions, we have been hard at work to fill key positions in the department. After a long period where we could not fill vacancies due to an outdated organizational structure. To this effect, we have appointed the head of department in Dr. Mjaji Malashela from the 1st of January 2023. Her appointment will assist to take the department forward and ensure speed implementation of programs. Honorable Speaker, we have also appointed Deputy Director General, Mr. Mukhalamu Shehu, under the Integrated Sustainable Human Settlement, and the Chief Financial Officer, which will resume the work the next month. Several senior management and other critical positions have been filled. We are confident that the appointments will enable us to become a responsive, efficient, and effective institution. The department has also been able to sustain the unqualified audit outcome. We are, however, not satisfied with the stagnation. Honorable Parliament. The appointment of key personnel, especially the financial management branch, is one of the key steps towards our clean audit journey. On Program 2, which is the Integrated Sustainable Human Settlement, as we draw towards the end of this term of administration, our covenant is in line with the commitment we made when we adopted the departmental 2022-2024-85 strategic plan. Our departmental programs are primarily informed by the 2019-2024 medium-term strategic framework, particularly priority number 4, which emphasizes spatial integration, human settlement, and local government. Informed by the MTSF, we committed to create integrated human settlement through the following: the creation of housing opportunities, upgrading of informal settlement, transfer of title deeds to beneficiaries, formalization of the settlements, and provision of service sites. Honorable Speaker, the human settlement sector is tasked to ensure provision of housing development, access to adequate accommodation in relevant, well-located areas, access to basic services, and access to social infrastructure and economic opportunities. Provision of these services is implemented through two conditional grants, namely the Human Settlement Development Grant and the Informal Settlement Upgrading Partnership Grant. The key expenditure drivers are the Integrated Residential Program, the IRDP, and the Urban Rural Housing Program and the service sites. Therefore, the constraints in these programs have an overall impact on performance and service delivery targets over time. Honorable Speaker, the provision of adequate housing and basic services ensure that a quality of life of citizens is improved, thereby holding the inherent dignity and worth of every individual as the country forges towards the egalitarian and rights-based society that we will aspire to live in. The total housing units delivered since the beginning of the sixth administration cycle are 20,370 against the target of 39,000. This translates to 51%. To attain the 5-year target will require that we provide 19,000 units in the coming 2 financial years. We are aware of the journey ahead. In terms of what we committed in the 2022-2023 financial year's overall performance, our annual plan target was to deliver 4,895 housing units. At the end of the fourth quarter of 2022-2023 financial year, a total of 5,058 housing units were delivered. In other words, we have exceeded our annual target by just 3%. Our journey to deliver houses as per our covenant continues in 2023-24 financial year, where our annual target is to deliver 7,291 low-cost housing, which will cost us, Honorable Squati, 661 million in various programs. To ensure that the needs of the most vulnerable are prioritized, we have impressed upon our municipalities to prioritize the elderly, the women, the child-headed household, and people living with disabilities when allocating housing units. We have also established a contract management unit, which will help monitor contract performance and act swiftly in instances of poor contract performance. Furthermore, in line with the commitment made in the last budget vote, the process of identifying and holding accountable officials that have contributed to the poor performance leading to the loss of funds has begun in the department. Honorable Speaker, we acknowledge the inconvenience caused by the blocked housing units. To ensure that qualifying households get access to shelter, we will progressively address all blocked housing projects in line with the ministerial directives. To this effect, the department has assessed and conducted structural integrity through the NHBRC for 2,000 blocked housing units. 350 housing units, which will cost us 39.7 million, will be unblocked during the 2023-2024 financial year. In addition, we're also replacing 500 mined houses at a cost of 69 million in this financial year. Honorable Speaker, the role played by the military veterans on the emancipation of an African child cannot be overemphasized. Freedom and all benefits enjoyed by this generation and generations to come is due to the sacrifice of these heroes and heroines. It is therefore the responsibility of this caring government to ensure that our military veterans have access to critical benefits such as housing, health, education, burial support, and pensions, among their other things. Despite teething challenges, we are happy to announce that our military veterans housing program is on track and gaining momentum. We continue to explore ways to expedite the delivery of houses to military veterans. Since the inception of the program, the department has been able to complete 137 military houses units. For the 2022-2023 financial year, we targeted to deliver 79 units. To this date, we managed to complete 15 units with 18 on various stages of completion. We unfortunately have 45 units that have not yet commenced due to unavailability of service sites. The department is engaging various municipalities to provide service sites in urban areas for the military veterans. Our 2023-2024 target on this program is 100 units, which will cost us 9.9 million. Perhaps let me indicate that major challenges such as scattered nature of the housing units have made the delivery time slow. While in some instances, service providers find the program not economic viable to implement, resulting in abandoned projects. To mitigate this challenge, we are engaging our implementing agent for this program, the HDA, to consider using service providers already allocated housing projects in areas where military veterans are found. We are all aware of the dangers of the asbestos roofs on the health of communities and households. As a caring government, the removal of these roofs is therefore one of our priorities. I am proud to announce, Honorable Speaker, that Limpopo has initiated the asbestos roof removal and replacement projects. When I presented the 2022-2023 budget speech, I announced that we aim to replace 1,500 asbestos roofs, which will cost us 15 million in Sishiho in the Polokwane municipality. The project took us long to implement due to legislative requirements and intricacies involved to implement a project of this nature for the first time in the province. I am, however, pleased to announce that to date, we have managed to replace 775 roofs, while 725 asbestos will be completed during the first quarter of 2023-2024 financial year. HDA has been appointed to conduct a province-wide audit of 10,500 asbestos roofs to inform a multi-year plan. We will not relent until all asbestos roofs are removed and replaced in our province. Honorable Speaker, during the presentation of SOP, our Premier of the province, Honorable Chupu Stanley Mathabata, said, and I quote, "This administration is serious about addressing the challenges facing the social strata called the missing middle. In human settlement terms, the missing middle refers to households who do not qualify for government's low-cost housing subsidy because their income is above the eligibility level, while they do not qualify for mortgage bonds from commercial banks because their income is below the qualifying threshold for home loans they want. In order to deal with this hindrance, RISIMA, our provincial housing finance agency, has partnered with Department of Corporate Governance, Human Settlement and Traditional Affairs to implement the Finance League Individual Subsidy Program, better known as FLIPS. Since the inception of the program, 175 subsidies were disbursed to the cost of 14 million. In the previous financial year, we had planned to disburse 50 subsidies. However, we have gone beyond our target and exceeded by 22 to the total of 72 subsidies. This financial year, we have planned to dispense 50 subsidies, which will cost us 4.5 million under this program. Despite an increase in the missing middle, the uptake on this program has been lower than what we anticipated. One of the challenges with the program is that it is lack of public awareness. We will, in this financial year, endeavor to market this housing funding through media houses and roadshows on marketing mediums. In the next financial year, we will adjust our annual target to accommodate more subsidies. Through this program, we will be able to secure housing finance at an affordable price. Honorable Speaker, the rollout of the community residential units continues to be a key focus for our department. The Marapong CRU in Lipalaga. This is one of our old projects that should have been completed a while ago. As I presented previously, the department recalled the project from the HDA and is being managed internally. The intervention plan, together with the optimized schedule, has put the project back on track, Honorable Seshok. The contractor is currently on site, managed closely by both the department and the principal agent. To date, from the 514 planned units, 394 structures are at various stages of completion. 48 blocks, which consist of 152 units, are roofed. The contractor is busy with finishes. We anticipate completing the project by end of this financial year. In the Makado, the Chikota residential unit, which is going to cost us 90 million, a contractor has been appointed for the construction of 118 CRUs. Site handover for the commencement of the project was done in December 2022, and the construction work permit has been approved in February 2023 by the Department of Employment and Labor. Work is in progress. We anticipate completing this project in the financial year 2024-2025 financial year. The feasibility study in the Mastok Talani CRU was concluded in November 2022. The department noted the delay in finalizing the designs and town planning process. The process to appoint a principal agent and a contractor to resume the construction is budgeted for 2023-2024 financial year. When it comes to the property, a title deed is the sole legal evidence that shows true ownership. The ANC-led government provides the whole package of housing for free. Honorable Speaker, allow me to repeat for free. In this year, SONA, the President of the country, His Excellency President Ramaphosa said, and I quote, "This year, we will take steps to unlock massive value for poor households by expediting the provision of title deeds for subsidized houses." Since the beginning of the sixth administration, the department has registered and issued 7,035 title deeds. Honorable Speaker, 1,125 title deeds have been registered during the 2022-2023 financial year. However, the annual target was not realized. There is a deviation as per planned target of 75 title deeds due to delays in signing documents by some municipalities. For this financial year, we have planned to register 1,500 title deeds across the province. To accelerate title deeds registration, the department will finalize township establishment processes for proclamation in Pelenkumpi, Greater Litawa, and Vilabila municipalities. Once concluded, it will unlock registration of almost 1,000 title deeds. Honorable Speaker, last year we committed to acquire portions of land in Lipalale and Elias Mtswalit for human settlement. It therefore gives me pleasure to announce that the department has acquired Lidibeng Eco Estate in Lipalale local municipality. The land was owned by ESCOM and was being disposed of as part of ESCOM's strategy to disposal of non-core priority properties. The land consists of 200 service sites to be part of the rapid land release for deserving beneficiaries. The second land portion is in Elias Mtswalit. The land is occupied as an informal settlement, and the department has acquired it to provide formal sustainable human settlement. An approval was obtained from the Provincial Treasury for the acquisition of the land from the private seller. Currently, the department is finalizing transactions with the HDA. The department continues to develop the areas where land was acquired previously, such as Moy Fontaine Extension in the Fitako Mutubatsa municipality. To date, we have completed the installation of engineering services such as water and sewer reticulation, including the construction link and internal roads. The Alto State project, better known as Joslovo in Lipalale, is one of the Catholic projects prioritized in the Limpopo Development Plan. A phased development approach was adopted for Alto State. The construction of houses will commence once engineering services phases are completed. The following town planning and engineering service milestones were completed: the township establishment, installation of water and sewer reticulation for 2,000 sites, installation of electricity reticulation for 700 sites, 2.4 kilometers of water pipeline, and 9 kilometers of bulk electrical line, including associated infrastructure. To address the lack of bulk sewer services, the designs for upgrading Pearl Water wastewater treatment plant have been completed, and the contractor will be appointed during the financial year. Mining Town's revitalization program Let me indicate that 5 projects for servicing of sites, construction of link roads, provision of water treatment package plant, and correcting of outfall sewer were completed in the following provincial growth points. In Tawazimbi, Fitako Mutubatse, Mogalakwena, Elias Mtswaledi mining towns. The mining towns revitalizing program will continue to be one of our bulk infrastructure delivery instruments. The department will conduct the upgrading of wastewater treatment works at Mutete, bulk water and sewer infrastructure projects at Masakaning, the geohydrological studies, borehole refurbishment and mapping of Rosaneka under Elias Mtswaledi will be conducted this financial year. Honorable Speaker, on the provision of service sites, we did not perform very well during the previous financial year. Servicing of 4,619 sites is still in progress in various municipalities. The main factor to the poor performance was a lack of bulk services in some areas and undertaking planning process during the year of implementation, which led to the delay in actual start of the construction and subsequent loss of money. To change the trajectory, the department has resolved to prioritize the provision of bulk services. Working with the various water services authorities, we identified and prioritized multi-year bulk water and sewer projects. Deliberate focus has been made to ensure alignment between the departmental budget and the water service development plans, in line with the integrated development planning principles. A database of engineering consultants have been finalized to address bulk services provision in accordance with the conditional grants requirements. In addition, through District 1 plans, the priority development areas will assist in accelerating availability of bulk infrastructure, which also contribute to spatial transformation. To this effect, 26 bulk infrastructure projects amounting to 266 million have been budgeted for this current financial year to address the shortage of bulk infrastructure across district municipalities. This will assist the department to lessen challenges during the implementation of water and sewer reticulation projects and improve access to water and sanitation services for our people. In terms of the loss of funds from consequence management point of view, disciplinary measures will be implemented against implicated officials. To improve the overall performance of the human settlement portfolio, the department has since developed a turnaround strategy. The implementation of the strategy is already yielding results. At its core, the turnaround strategy intends to strengthen forward planning, contract management. Some of the milestones already attained include finalization of database for 5-year development areas per municipality. This will allow us to conclude all planning process, including geotechnical investigation, a year in advance. We hereby call upon our municipalities to also adopt a similar approach in respect of beneficiary management, as this continues to be another challenge. We are confident that the system we are establishing will enable us to improve our performance and further improve access to service. However, due to dependencies, I urge our municipalities to engage in a multi-year plans on areas of their responsibilities so that we can conclude planning a year ahead of implementation. On the 31st of March 2023, the Minister of Human Settlement, Honorable Mamluku Kubai, pronounced an adjustment on policy changes to accelerate performance in the housing sector. From the 1st of April, Honorable Speaker, real terms of housing programs will be adjusted as follows. 1, the BNG services and top structures will move from 196,887 to 255,364. House for persons with disabilities will move from 209,071 rand to 271,166. As Honorable Marule is getting a seat, the military veteran houses will move from 240,607 to 312 and 69,000. The first home finance will move from 130 to 169, 265 rand. The social housing will move from 327, 667 to 424, 984 rand. The minister further announced the inclusion of solar panels, rainwater harvesting device in rural areas, as well as fitting of burglar bars on units for persons with disabilities. The province is ready to comply with this adjustment as we implement the budget for this financial year. Program 3 on corporate governance. Local government provides immediate intervention in terms of provision of services because it is a sphere that is closer to the communities. We know very well that none of us acting alone can achieve success. We must therefore act in harmony to build this province for the rebirth of the new dawn in the 2023-2024 financial year. Honorable Speaker, our Premier of a province, Honorable Chupuste Lima Tabata, in his State of the Province address, pronounced that we expect our municipalities to invest more in the development and maintenance of water, sanitation, electricity, and road infrastructure, close quote. There has been a decline in the mixed spending for 2022-2023 financial year. But let me congratulate municipalities that performed well and have received an additional MIG allocation totaling 251 million for our province during the budget adjustment by National Treasury. Please join me to recognize these municipalities in the form of Collins Chabani, which received 45 million. Maruleng Municipality received 35 million. Elias Mtwaledi Municipality received 32 million. Tulamela Municipality received 30 million. Fitafo Mutubatse received 30 million. Makudu Tamaga received 24 million. Blobek Local Municipality received 21 million. Ephraim Mukale Municipality received 19 million. And Greater Litava received 15 million. On the other hand, there are municipalities who underperformed. We urge them to address existing challenges contributing to the expenditure. The province has noted the appreciation, the improvement of our municipal audit outcomes over the years. The Auditor General, Ms. Sakani Maluleke, has also found a notable improvement in municipal audit outcomes in Limpopo. When addressing the Premier Provincial Intergovernmental Forum on the 17th of March 2023, the Auditor General indicated that even though the numbers remained stagnant during the 2021-2022 audit period, the province has shown improvements. Appreciation to our two municipalities, Waterberg and Capricorn District Municipality, that attained clean audits. The last time the province achieved two clean audits was in 2010-2011 financial year. It was the then Akomu Local Municipality and Waterberg District Municipality. Out of the 27 municipalities in the province, 13 municipalities have received unqualified audit opinions with matters of emphasis. 11 municipalities received qualified audit opinion, and only one municipality in the form of Mopani received a disclaimer audit opinion. We further applaud Pulukwani Local Municipality, Greater Giani Municipality, Bilabila Local Municipality that improved their audit outcomes. We also encourage municipalities that have regressed to improve their audit outcomes. While we have witnessed a slight decrease in the amount used by municipalities on consultants, the AG has raised concerns, and compared to the 279 million from the 2020-2021 financial year, the province used 231 million in the 2021-2022 financial year. To this effect, the Premier has directed municipalities to reduce their consultant spending by 60%. As the department, we further undertake to work together with the Provincial Treasury to ensure improving audit outcomes and sound financial management in our municipalities. Honorable Speaker, the district development model is an approach emphasizing the involvement of all spheres of government, private sector and civil society in planning. The outcome of the DDM process is a gradual development of all-inclusive long-term District 1 plans. The District 1 plans are currently open for inputs and updating. As such, I therefore advise all sectors to support the process by indicating additional catalytic projects. In the last 4 years, we have endured disaster in various forms and degrees. The COVID-19 pandemic was the worst of them all, claiming lives and livelihoods. Then there were Tropical Cyclone Eluse and to a lesser extent, Cyclone Freddy. These disasters were punctuated by comparative minor disasters like Sishiho hailstorm and others which struck small areas of our province. The province has also experienced abnormal rainfall since December 2022, overlapping to the year 2023. Heavy rainfall poured in all 5 districts, leaving several households and infrastructure affected, including loss of life. The total estimated of the post-disaster maintenance and repairs, human settlement, roads and infrastructure, municipal internal streets, and culverts for the province is approximately 340 million. The National Disaster Management Center has determined and allocated emergency disaster relief grant to 11 municipalities who applied and met all the requirements in terms of the conditions of the grant. We urge sector departments and municipalities to move swiftly in implementing this project when funds are made available. Overall, the intensity of disaster has increased, requiring the province and municipalities to build the capacity to mitigate and respond to disaster. This requires all stakeholders to work together to prevent disaster and respond timeously. We call upon our traditional leaders and municipalities to strengthen land use management and ensure the households are not located on riverbanks or areas which are prone to floods. We therefore call on municipalities to maintain